He was Kim Jong-un's own uncle, the second most powerful man in North Korea, and they say he was executed with an anti-aircraft gun. Not a firing squad, not a bullet, a weapon built to destroy fighter jets reportedly turned on a human being. Dragged out of a meeting room, in front of the entire party, on state television's own record. His crime, loyalty wasn't enough, blood wasn't enough. If Kim Jong-un's own family isn't safe from him, nobody is. December 8th, 2013, Pyongyang. A special session of the Workers' Party is underway, and the man sitting near the center of power is Jang Song-thaek. For years, Jang wasn't just a relative, he was the second in command. The man who, when Kim Jong-un was still an untested 20-something stepping into his father's shoes, was widely seen as the one actually running the country behind the scenes. He was family by marriage, married to Kim Jong-il's own sister. He had access, he had loyalty, he had decades inside the regime's inner circle. And then, in that meeting room, two guards walked up behind him and pulled him out of his chair by both arms, in full view of the party's most senior officials. State media itself later confirmed it happened. This wasn't a rumor leaking out of Pyongyang. North Korea announced it themselves. Days later, North Korean state media confirmed he'd been tried by a special military tribunal and executed, officially, for treason and anti-party activity. But it's what came next that turned this from a political purge into one of the most disturbing execution stories to come out of North Korea in decades. Multiple outside reports, widely circulated but never confirmed by North Korea itself, claimed the method used wasn't a standard firing squad at all. They say it was an anti-aircraft gun, a weapon designed to shred aircraft out of the sky, reportedly turned on one man. We can't confirm that detail with full certainty. North Korea has never officially verified it. But what we can confirm is this: the second most powerful man in the country, family to the supreme leader himself, was gone within days of being pulled from his chair. And that's the part North Korea's one united family image can't survive. Because if the regime will do this to the man closest to the throne, the family isn't the point, the throne is. Zoom out for a second, because Jang's story isn't really about one man. North Korea holds roughly 26 million people, locked inside a country you could drive across in a single day. Look at a satellite photo of the region at night. South Korea glows, Seoul lit up like a circuit board, edge to edge. Cross the border and the light just stops. North Korea goes black, not dim, black. One nation split in half, and one side simply isn't there after dark. That's not a power outage, that's the whole country. Here's the part that should bother you. The regime doesn't call itself a dictatorship. It calls itself a family. State propaganda paints the Kim dynasty as parents, protectors, the nation as one big household, loyal to the leader the way children are loyal to a father. That's not exaggeration. It's the actual language North Korea builds its identity on. So ask yourself something. If the family is real, where does that leave the man who married into it, who spent decades inside it, who was, by blood and marriage, closer to that family than almost anyone alive? Jang Song-thaek was as family as it gets, and family didn't save him. This didn't start with Kim Jong-un. It started with his grandfather. Kim Il-sung built the myth from scratch after World War II, cast himself as liberator, founder, eternal leader. When he died in 1994, power didn't go to a vote. It went to his son. Kim Jong-il ran the country through famine, isolation, and a nuclear program that made the world nervous. And when he died in 2011, the the same thing happened again. Power passed by blood to a third-generation leader in his 20s who most of the world had barely heard of. 3 generations, 1 family, 0 elections. That's not a government changing hands. That's a throne. So how does a 20-something hold a nuclear-armed country together? Not through popularity, through machinery. At the center of it sits the party tribunal system, the same special military tribunal that convicted Jang in under a week. These aren't courts in any sense you'd recognize. There's no jury, no real defense. A tribunal exists to produce one outcome, fast, and broadcast the result. Behind that sits the military, not just for national defense, but as the enforcement arm of loyalty itself. Step out of line, and it isn't police who show up. The system was never built to protect the family. It was built to protect the throne underneath it. Jang's execution wasn't an isolated event. It was a demonstration. Here's the rule. In North Korea, guilt runs in families. Human Rights Watch has documented it for years. One person breaks a rule and the punishment doesn't stop with them. Parents, children, siblings pulled in too, sometimes for decades, sometimes into prison camps that don't officially exist. Jang's own fall reportedly didn't stop with Jang. Reports at the time described associates and relatives connected to him disappearing from public life in the weeks after his execution. The exact pattern the human rights record describes as standard practice. You don't just lose your freedom in that system. You lose everyone attached to your name. Now add the second layer, because collective punishment is only half the machine. The other half is public. The United Nations has documented it directly. North Korea uses public trials and public executions specifically to instill fear. And in recent years, the death penalty has been used more, not less. This isn't punishment happening quietly, somewhere far away. It's staged, witnessed, designed to be talked about. Which brings us back to the anti-aircraft gun. We said it at the start, and it's worth sitting with now in context. North Korea has never confirmed the method used on Jang Song-thaek, but the claim, repeated across multiple outside reports for over a decade, is that his execution used an anti-aircraft weapon. Not a rifle, not a standard firing squad. A weapon built to tear apart aircraft in the sky, reportedly aimed at one man on the ground. Confirmed or not, the fact that this is even plausible tells you everything. A system that executes people publicly to make a point, to make people watch and remember. That's a system where this rumor didn't need to be true to do its job. It just needed to be believable. And in North Korea it was. But here's what the regime can't fully control: information. Every year, smuggled USB drives move across the border from China, foreign films, South Korean dramas, outside news, hidden inside ordinary-looking files. People risk prison camps just to watch them. Defectors have described entire underground networks built around passing these drives hand to hand. Think about that for a second. A government willing to execute its own with anti-aircraft guns still can't stop a USB stick. That's not weakness by accident. Human Rights Watch and UN reporting both point to something simple. The harder a regime clamps down on outside information, the more it's telling you it's afraid of that information getting in. Total control isn't a sign of total strength. It's the opposite. Cracks don't have to be visible from the outside to be real. So what do you actually do with a story like Jang Song-thaek's? Here's the part that reaches past North Korea. Loyalty in a system built on fear was never a two-way street. It looked like family. It looked like protection. but it only ever ran one direction, toward the person at the top, never back down toward the people who gave it. That's not unique to North Korea. Watch for it anywhere power asks for loyalty, but offers no protection in return. Song-thaek gave that regime decades of his life. It gave him a tribunal and a headline. If this is the kind of story that gets under your skin, there's another one on this channel, a mansion, hidden in plain sight, that answers a very different question about where power actually goes once it's taken. Go watch that one next.